Hey guys, and today we are going to be doing a full review of the 2017 Kia Niro. With the compact hybrid market lacking great competition, Kia knew this was the perfect time to release the depiction of the perfect hybrid. In order to do that, Kia decided to blend two very hot segments in the automotive world into a more fuel-efficient offering. Currently, I'm standing right next to that vehicle, the 2017 Kia Niro. Offering a practical and efficient blend of both the hatchback and CUV segments, the Niro is here to show what a hybrid should actually be. So let's see if Kia's new lean green family hauling machine has what it takes to convert gas-guzzling loyals to fuel-sipping converts. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but now I have timestamps in the description box below. And I know that this video is a little bit on the long side, and I tried my very best to make it as short as possible, but this vehicle contains so much technology and equipment, and it's just such a feature-rich vehicle, I just had to include it all for you guys. So like I said, don't forget to check out the description box below and zoom to the sections you are most interested in. Now, before I get this review rolling, I would like to thank Ridcase Kia in Sunrise, Florida for allowing me to review this vehicle for you guys. If you are interested in purchasing a brand new Kia and live in the South Florida area, don't hesitate to check them out. They will get you into the perfect Kia in no time. And remember that all of DriveAndBeDriven's reviews are 100% honest and 0% biased. So, let's get started. Alright, so let's first talk about the exterior styling of the 2017 Kia Niro. So looking at the front end of the Kia Niro, you are going to see that you do have this very attractive looking grille design right here, and that's probably going to stand out to you the most on the Kia Niro. Now this is going to be Kia's very corporate tiger nose grille here, and I really love the look of this grille. You are going to have this chrome accenting going all the way around there, and then if you do come above that, you are going to have your Kia logo here with a glossy finish over top and more of that chrome accenting going around it. Now if you do look a little bit closer in detail at your grille design, you are going to see that these studs actually have holes in them while these studs do not. So it's not going to be a full functional grille. Like about halfway down is going to be a functional grille, and top portion is just going to be for style. Now if you do come to the headlight module on the 2017 Kia Niro, you are going to see that you do have projector beam high intensity discharge headlights here, and those are going to be both your high and your low beams. Now if you do come to the right of that, you are going to see that you do have your incandescent turn signal indicators, and then you also have this swoosh right here that is going to be LED lights, and it's going to make the vehicle look just a little bit more premium since we do have the top of the line touring trim here. Now if you do come below that, you are going to see that you do have fog lights around here, and then right above that you are going to have some more LED accenting daytime running lights right there as well. Now if you do come to the left of that, you do have this air flow portion right here, and this is going to allow for air to flow around the vehicle a lot more efficiently and to cool off the tires as well. Now if you do come below there, you do have this fairly attractive looking L shape right here, and this is not going to be chrome. This is sort of like a silver painted or metallic painted plastic portion right there. And if you do come to the center right here, you are also going to have another grille portion, and this box right here is going to work as all of your safety technology, since this vehicle does come with lane departure warning, lane keep assist, and a few more of those safety features, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. Now if you do come a little bit closer here, you will also see that you do have these very well integrated parking sensors, and you can't really notice them at all, especially since we do have this black color of the Kia Niro here. Now if you do move on down the side of the Kia Niro, you are going to see that you do have this character line that does start right here on the wheel well and swoops all the way down the side of the vehicle and then slowly diminishes down, since the side of this vehicle actually doesn't have many character lines at all, making the vehicle look a lot more sleek and not overly styled like some other hybrids can look like. Now if you do look at your rim design here, you are going to have 18-inch alloy rims here, and this is going to have sort of like a 5-spoke design here, and it also looks like it's always in motion because it does have this angle right here that does make it look like it is in motion there. Now this is going to have sort of like a two-tone color to it. You are going to have this darker gray portion in the center and then this lighter silver brushed portion on the exterior portion there. Now around your wheel wells, you're also going to get this plastic cladding going down the side of the vehicle, making the vehicle look a little bit more rugged, sort of like how an SUV should look like. And you're also going to have some fixed mud flaps there as well. Now looking at your mirror design right here, you are also going to have a very clean and conservative styled mirror design here. It's going to be body colored the same as the color of your body, and right here you're going to have your LED turn signal indicator right here, and I really like how they did make that an LED turn signal indicator, since a lot of other competitors don't even offer a turn signal indicator on the mirror. Now coming down the side of the vehicle, you are going to see that you do have sort of like a slight hip to the vehicle. I'm not sure if you could tell, but the side of the vehicle does sort of curve in towards the top, so it's giving the vehicle a little bit more of a wide body stance. Now looking at your door handle design here, it is also going to be body colored. You do not get chrome door handles on the Kia Niro. Now coming to the rear door handles, also the same thing there as well. Now you are also going to get this chrome strip that does run over your windows, and it is going to pretty much give the vehicle a lot more of an upscale and premium look as well. And since we do have this touring trim, you also get these silver painted plastic roof lines right here as well. Now looking at the overall side profile of the 2017 Kia Niro, you are going to see that this vehicle sort of has is sort of a cross between a hatchback and a compact utility vehicle. Now the main reason this is going to be a cross between those two vehicles is because it sort of has a compact utility vehicle shape to it, since it is sort of raised up, but it also has a hatchback shape to it as well, especially when it does come to the dimensions and the overall proportioning of the vehicle. You do have this very long rear portion of the body that does have a slight slope down right there, and if you do come to the front of the vehicle, you are going to have a moderately sized front hood here, since a lot of compact SUVs tend to have shorter hoods. So the vehicle is sort of a cross between those two, but it is more like a subcompact SUV than anything. Now if we do come to the rear end of the 2017 Kia Niro, you are going to see that you also have a fairly attractive and conservative looking rear end on the Kia Niro as well. So if you do come a little bit closer into your taillights here, you are going to see that you do have LED C-shaped taillights here. So these are going to be LED lights right here, and you're also going to have this portion that does run all the way around your taillight module right there. Now right here you also have your incandescent turn signal indicators, and your reverse lights are going to be located on the lower portion of the bumper down here with your reflectors right there. Now below there, mimicking the front of the vehicle, you are also going to have this L shape to your bumper right here as well. This is going to be a plastic silver painted insert right there, and you also get some more cladding down here as well, similar to the color of that. So it's pretty much going to make the vehicle look a little bit more rugged in its appearance as well. Now looking at the rear of the vehicle, you're also going to see that you do have your Niro badge right here, and it does say Touring right next to it, since we do have the top of the line Touring trim here. And then right over here you do have the same Kia logo from the front, and it is pulled to the back here as well, and it pretty much finishes off the rear end of the Kia Niro fairly well. Now down here you also have your trunk opening portion right here, so you are going to open up your trunk from down here, which is a pretty neat feature. And another thing that I did want to point out is that Kia actually locates the reverse camera right here under the windshield wiper, which is a pretty neat feature as well. Some other vehicles do tend to put that over here, but Kia does decide to put it right below your rear windshield wiper. And overall, the exterior styling of the 2017 Kia Niro is very sleek, and it also has a very agile look to it as well, with these very sporty looking rims, as well as this cladding on the bottom makes it also look a little bit more rugged as well. And overall, the exterior styling of the Kia Niro is very attractive looking. It's actually probably one of the best looking subcompact vehicles out there that you can pretty much buy. And Kia is very proud of the fact that this is a hybrid, and in fact doesn't even really look like a hybrid. It does have a very conservative and a styling that is going to appeal to a lot broader of a market, as opposed to some of its other competitors, which tend to have a little bit of an awkward look and will definitely appeal to a very select number of people. The Kia Niro is pretty much going to drag a lot of people in that are used to driving gasoline vehicles and still like the styling of a traditional gasoline vehicle, but they are going to get extra fuel economy with really no cost to styling whatsoever. Alright, so now let's talk about the pricing of the 2017 Kia Niro. Now, the Kia Niro does start at just about $22,890 and can top out at just about $35,000 if you do get pretty much all of the equipment that you can possibly get for the Kia Niro. Now, the total price of the vehicle that we do have here is $34,610. So this is pretty much a fully loaded Kia Niro. There's not really any options that this Kia Niro is missing. Now, the pricing of the Kia Niro, the starting price is actually lower than the Prius by just about $2,000, and the higher end trims are very competitive price and feature wise with pretty much all of the other competitors in its segment. Alright, so now let's talk about the competition of the 2017 Kia Niro. Now, the Kia Niro doesn't really have any direct competitors, but some of the competition can include the Ford C-Max, the Toyota Prius, the Toyota Prius V, the Hyundai Ioniq, which is pretty much the Kia Niro's cousin in a way, also the Nissan Rogue Hybrid and the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. Now, the main reason why the Ford C-Max and the Toyota Prius V are not going to be direct competitors with this vehicle is because they are going to be more on the wagon slash hatchback side, while this is more of a subcompact utility vehicle. And if you are looking at, for example, the Toyota Prius or the Hyundai Ioniq, those vehicles are very solely hatchbacks, or if you will, even sort of like a fastback liftback design. And the main reason why the Nissan Rogue Hybrid and the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid aren't going to be direct competitors is because they are going to be quite a bit larger than the Kia Niro. They are going to be compact utility vehicle hybrids and are going to get much less fuel economy, much less range out of the vehicle as opposed to this Kia Niro. So the Kia Niro is sort of like a very happy medium between all of the segments, and I feel like it is going to appeal to a lot of consumers. Now, the Niro classifies between the subcompact and compact utility vehicle segment, and it's sort of like a high-riding compact hatchback, if you will. Alright, so now I am pretty much going to give you guys a brief trim level breakdown and pretty much go over the notable standard equipment of each of the trim levels. Since this vehicle does come with quite a bit of standard equipment, I'm not going to be going over all of it, but just pretty much the things that you do need to know. So if you do go for the base FE trim, it is going to start at just about $22,890, and that is going to come standard with your UVO 7-inch color touchscreen, as well as your projector beam halogen headlights. You are also going to get smaller eco-shaped 16-inch alloy wheels, and you are also going to get that standard Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and you are going to get dual zone climate control, a standard rear view camera, and the spoiler is actually standard on all trim levels, which is a pretty neat feature. Now, if you do go for that LX trim level of the Kia Niro, you are going to get these LED tail lights. So if you do want these LED tail lights, you do have to step up to that LX trim and above. You're also going to get those roof rails. So the roof rails that you do see here on this Kia Niro Touring, you do have to step up to that LX trim to get that. that. You also get that push button start with smart key access system as well. Now if you do go for the EX trim, which is another step up from the LX trim, which does start at $23,200, the EX trim is going to start at $25,700 and is going to come with fog lights with your LED accents. So your fog lights that you do have right here with your LED accents over it is going to start at your EX trim. You're also going to get cloth seats with leather bolstering, as well as heated front seats and leather wrapped steering wheel on that EX trim. Now if you do go for the Touring trim, and there are actually two trims of the Touring, there's a Touring Launch Edition and the traditional Touring. The Touring Launch Edition I believe is only going to be out for the first year that the Kia Niro is out, so pretty much for the 2017 model year, and that is pretty much going to be sort of like their value launch edition, since it is the first year that the Kia Niro is coming out and they do want to give their consumers just a little bit of a value proposition there. So that vehicle is going to come standard with some sports black accents, hyper gray 18-inch alloy rims. So if you do want those 18-inch alloy rims, you have to go for either the Touring Launch Edition or the Touring trim. And if you do want a larger 8-inch touchscreen, you do have to go for that Touring Launch Edition or that Touring trim. Now a few of the packages are going to give you some of these equipment, so I'm not going to go over all the packagings. I will leave some links in the description box, as well as some information in the description if you are wondering about that, or even comment down below if you do have any questions about trim levels or anything about packages. Now also, this vehicle is going to come with Harman Kardon premium audio system if you do go for that Touring Launch Edition. So that Touring Launch Edition and the Touring trim is also going to come with that Harman Kardon stereo system. So this vehicle is going to have that wonderful sounding Harman Kardon stereo system. Now if you do go for the Touring trim, which we do have here, and this vehicle is going to start at just about $29,650, it is going to come with 18-inch alloy wheels. So these 18-inch alloy wheels that you do have here, which look very attractive. I actually really like the styling of those rims. And you're also going to get a standard power sunroof if you do go for this Touring trim, as well as full leather seats and ventilated front seats with a heated steering wheel. So this top of the line Touring trim does come fully loaded here. Now the Touring trim that we do have here does come with a few packages, and the packages that this vehicle does come with is going to be that you do have this wonderful looking paint. I'm not sure if you guys can read this, but you do have this Aurora paint, this black paint that we do have on this Kia Niro. You're also going to have the advanced technology package on this vehicle as well. So the advanced technology package is going to add just about $1,900 to the total, and that is going to add your HID headlights, which I was talking about earlier, and it is going to come with a slew of safety equipment. So all of those added up is going to push this vehicle all the way up to $34,610, which is quite a bit of money. But for what Kia is giving you here, I feel like that's a bargain. I feel like this vehicle can easily be wearing a luxury brand name badge without a doubt. But this vehicle is still a Kia, and it is going to give you all of that value that Kia is well known for. So if you do want the most for your money in this hybrid segment, the Kia Niro may be the vehicle you do want to check out. Alright, so now let's see what's under the hood of the 2017 Kia Niro. Now to open up the hood of the 2017 Kia Niro, you just locate your Kia badge right here, and slightly to the right of that, you are going to push to the left and lift the hood right on up. Now the Kia Niro actually has a very light hood here, so I do really like that. Now you do need a hood prop for this hood, so I'll catch you right back. Now under the hood of the 2017 Kia Niro, you are going to see that you only have one available engine for 2017, and that is going to be your 1.6 liter gasoline direct injected inline 4-cylinder engine that is going to be paired to your 240 volt lithium ion polymer battery. Now both of those motors working together is going to produce 139 horsepower at a pretty late 5,700 RPM and 109 195 pound-feet of torque at a respectable 4,000 RPM. Now, you may be saying that's a lot of torque, especially for the size and weight of this vehicle. That is quite a bit of torque. And you also have to keep in mind that that electric motor is going to be activated from 0 RPM all the way to 1,800 RPM. So it is going to offer lots of peppiness when you do need it. And so it is going to be very easy to drive around the city if you do need those quick jolts to move up real fast. That is going to be very helpful. Now, this vehicle is going to be paired to a 6-speed dual clutch transmission, or a DCT, and that is going to be quite unique for this class, since most vehicles in this class are going to be paired to a continuously variable transmission, or a CVT. So Kia did choose to go for that dual clutch transmission mainly because it is going to give the driver a lot more of an engaging drive. So as opposed to some of the CVTs, which tend to hold their gears and give you somewhat of a droning noise, the 2017 Kia Niro is going to give you a lot more of an engaging drive, and is also going to have those active shifts, making you feel even more engaged in the overall driving experience. Now, most competitors, like I said, do come with that continuously variable transmission, so you do have to keep in mind that the Kia Niro is sort of one of a kind in this segment when it does come to its transmission options. And one thing you do have to keep in mind, even though this vehicle is a sort of like a crossover SUV, this vehicle does not come with any all-wheel drive options. Now, the main reason for that is because all-wheel drive is going to drop fuel economy quite a bit, since you do need more power to power all 4 wheels. So you are only left with front-wheel drive options for the 2017 Kia Niro. So you do have to pretty much keep that in mind. So this vehicle is not going to be any off-road demon, but you do have to keep in mind this vehicle is a hybrid and is mainly meant for city and highway drives. Now, 0 to 60 times for this vehicle, you can expect 0 to 60s to be in the 10-second range, which isn't amazing, but you do have to keep in mind that 0 to 30 miles per hour is going to be amazing, since you do have that electric motor that is going to be active all the way up until 40 miles per hour, as long as you aren't flooring the engine of the Kia Niro. Alright, so now let's see what kind of growl this 1.6 liter engine can produce under revs. Alright, so now let's check out the rest of the Kia Niro. Alright, so now let's talk about the fuel efficiency of the 2017 Kia Niro. So, to unlock this door right here, you saw earlier that I just came right up here, I opened up the door, and I pressed this button right here to open it right on up. Now, if we do come back to the fuel area right here, you did see that this door did open up. And if you do open it up the rest of the way, you are going to see that you do have a twist cap design right here for your nozzle portion right there. You do not have a capless design, and I would have definitely liked to have seen Kia go for a capless design on the Niro, especially since this vehicle was first introduced for the 2017 model year. So it is a very modern vehicle, and I would have definitely liked to see that modern feature of a capless design on here. But nevertheless, you do get this twist cap design right here. And the main reason you are going to be buying this vehicle is going to be for fuel economy, most likely. Now, the fuel economy of this vehicle, if you do go for that base FE trim is going to be 52 miles per gallon in the city, 49 miles per gallon on the highway, and 50 miles per gallon combined, which is just incredible. Now, if you do go for the LX or the EX trim, which is just about one step up from that, you are going to be getting 51 miles per gallon in the city, 46 miles per gallon on the highway, and 49 miles per gallon combined. And if you do go for either that Touring trim or that Touring Launch Edition, your fuel economy is going to drop to 46 miles per gallon in the city, 40 miles per gallon on the highway, and 43 miles per gallon combined. Now, regular fuel is recommended for this vehicle as well. Now, a question may be going through your head right now, and you may be saying, okay, why is the fuel economy dropping so much from the base FE trim all the way up to the top of the line Touring trim? Now, the main reason for that is going to be because the EX, FE, and the LX trims are all going to come with 205 with tires, but if you do go for that Touring or that Touring Launch Edition, you are going to get much wider 225 with tires, so you do have to keep that in mind. So pretty much if you do have wider tires, it is going to result in more traction, more grip, more friction, and as a result, lower fuel economy. Also, extra weight in this trim level may also result in that lower fuel economy, since you do have lots more technology packed into this vehicle, as well as heavier 18-inch alloy rims as opposed to the base 16-inch alloy rims found on the lower end FE trim. Alright, now the fuel tank size of the 2017 Kia Niro is going to be 11.9 gallons, which isn't extremely large, but you do have to keep in mind that this vehicle does get quite a bit of range per gallon. So this vehicle does get just about 43 miles per gallon. So when you do put that into perspective, this vehicle does get close to 600 miles per tank, which is quite impressive. Also, Kia is very proud to announce that this vehicle is the most fuel efficient crossover in America, which is pretty impressive as well. Alright, so now let's check out the rest of the 2017 Kia Niro. Alright, so now let's talk about the interior design of the 2017 Kia Niro. But first, I do want to talk about the door handle design that you do have on the Kia Niro. Now, you do have a smart key access system on the front driver and front passenger doors of the Kia Niro. So to lock the door, you press the button once. It will lock your doors, and you just press it 2 times to unlock the door. So once, and you open it right on up. Now, looking at your door panel design inside of the 2017 Kia Niro, now we do have the Touring trim here, and you do have very soft to the touch materials on the upper portion of the dashboard here. It does feel very high quality, and it feels very nice on here. I really like the materials that Kia does give you on here. It is sort of like a imitation leather, but it does have a very soft to the touch material, and it does run all the way down, all the way actually into your cup holder down there. Now, you do have a leather wrapped armrest here as well that does have that blue stitching that you can only get if you do get the light gray color interior. If you do get a black interior, you are going to get a black or dark gray stitching here. Now, if you do come over here, you are going to see that you do have piano black accenting on here as well, which does look amazing. I really like how it does make the vehicle a lot more classy, upscale, and premium. You also get your silver painted, sort of like a metallic door handle here, and it's a very traditional looking door handle with your lock right there, which is also painted, which I really like to see, because some auto manufacturers do leave the painting of the lock out, but they do add that here for you. Now, if you do look at your controls right here, you do have all of your mirror controls up here. You do have your door lock controls, your window locks, and behind there you do have all of your window switch controls. You do have auto windows for both your front driver and your front passenger, and if you do come to the back here, your back windows are going to be powered, but they're not going to have any auto features. Now, if you do come lower in the dashboard, this is going to be all hard touch plastics down here, but that is pretty much to be expected, especially since this vehicle is more of a budget vehicle. Now, you do get a cup holder down here, which does look fairly large, so we are going to see how our water bottles do fit in there. And then right here to the left, you are also going to have another portion right here to store whatever you want inside of there as well. Now, if you do come over here to the right, you do have your Harman Kardon premium audio system inside of this Kia Niro Touring trim that we do have here, and we are going to listen to that. Maybe in another video I might make a stereo system review of the Kia Niro, and we will see how that Harman Kardon system does sound, but I would imagine it does sound amazing. All right, so now let's look at the seat design here. So you do have these very nice looking seats. I actually really like the design that Kia does go for with these seats. You do have this sort of like a trapezoidal shape on the lower portion here. This is not perforated, but this portion is all going to be perforated, and these seats are going to come ventilated and heated with 3 stages for each, which is really unique. I mean, lots of vehicles really reserve that for their premium, pretty much upscale and luxury vehicles, but you can get that in your Kia Niro. Now, right here, we're also going to see that you do have this blue stitching that does run all the way down the sides of this light gray interior. Now, you can, like I said earlier, you can only get this blue stitching if you do go for that light gray interior. If you do go for the black interior, you are not going to get any of this blue stitching, which is a shame. I would have definitely liked to have seen that stitching on all trim levels of the Kia Niro. Now, up here, you also get some more of that blue stitching, and you do get your headrest design here, which is a fairly traditional headrest design, and we will talk about seat comfort in just a little bit. Now, coming down here, you do have all of your seat controls. You do have power front and backwards, as well as you do have your thigh raise and lower. You also can lower the back of your seat, raise the back of your seat, forward and backwards for your back, and you also have 2-way lumbar support there as well. So overall, the seat functionality and overall motion is quite abundant in here. Now, if you do come right here, you also have manual adjustability, a manual adjustable steering wheel here. So all you do is click that down right there, and you can pull it up and you can pull it down, and you have a decent range of motion up and down. I would have definitely liked to have seen more. And pushing in and out, you cannot actually telescope. So this steering wheel only has up and down motion and no telescoping, and I feel like that was sort of a silly omission for Kia. I would have definitely liked to have seen a telescoping steering wheel as well. But overall, the functionality of the seats inside of the Kia Niro and the overall seat quality and materials seem fairly good, and also your door panel design is quite high quality as well. Even though you do get that hard touch plastic down here, it pretty much is very class competitive with all of its other competitors, and in some ways actually ahead of some of its older competitors as well. Alright, so now let's talk about the seat comfort inside of the 2017 Kia Niro Touring. So this vehicle does come with 2 memory seat controls. So you do have memory seat controls for 2 drivers, so that is a pretty neat feature. So all you have to do is pretty much put your foot on the brake and start up the vehicle, and you are going to see how my seat does move into the memory setting that it was set in. Now, your seats, let me move this up so you guys can see it a little bit more. Now, your seats do have power forward adjustability as well as backwards adjustability. You do have heightening for the bottom of your seat here, and you also have heightening for the back of your seat. So you do have quite a bit of motion for this bottom seat cushion. You also get your backrest controls here, so you can move this in a little more and move it out. And the seat is fully powered, which is another neat feature that I'd really like about the Kia Niro. Also, you do get 2-way powered lumbar support, so you can make the seats just a little bit more firm and supportive, or a little bit less firm and a little bit more cushy in its feel. Now, sitting inside of the seats inside of the 2017 Kia Niro, they actually feel fairly comfortable. I do like how it does have quite a bit of bolstering on the sides here. The bolstering is actually quite aggressive. Now, the seats do have quite a bit of width. They're not extremely wide, but they do have a slight width to them, so they aren't squeezing you, but they aren't super wide where you're just flying all around inside the vehicle. So this vehicle does feel like it is going to hold you in place fairly well. Also, your bottom seat bolstering also feels like it is going to hold you in place as well, fairly well as well. And your bottom seats is actually fairly plush. It's not extremely plush, it's a little bit firm. The leather isn't the plushest leather that I have felt, but at least they do give you leather, which is a pretty neat feature. Also, your headrests also feel fairly comfortable as well. Your headrests are also leather wrapped, and they do have manual adjustability up and down, and your headrests have a decent plushness to them. They could be a little bit more plush, but I do really like how Kia did sort of sculpt them to where they go around your head. So they're not just a headrest, but they actually seem like they did sculpt that around the body. So I really like the seats inside of the Kia Niro, and I feel like they are probably one of the most comfortable budget seats that I have sat in so far. Now, one silly quirk that I didn't want to point out for you guys is that this vehicle actually doesn't come with powered seats for your passenger. You actually only get manual adjustability here for your backrest, your forward, and for your height adjustability, as well as your forward and backwards down here as well. You do not get any lumbar support on your passenger seat, and I feel like that's just really strange. I would have definitely liked to have seen Kia add those power seats for both your driver as well as your front passenger. Alright, now on the left side of your dashboard design here, you are going to see that you do have your AC vents right here, and it does have that glossy trim going around there and that piano black accenting, which I really love the look of. You also have that blue accenting going around there as well, which I extremely love the look of. And then if you do come below there, you do have your gauge dimmer right here. You also have your blind spot monitoring turning on and off right there. You also have your lane keep assist on and off button, and you do have your traction control on and off button right there as well. Now if you do come below there, you do have your fuel tank opening button right there, as well as your battery reset. So if you do want to reset that 12-volt battery, you can reset it by clicking right there. And you also have your parking brake right here, and then right below there you do have a dead pedal, which has a pretty decent width to it. If you do have big feet, they're going to have no problem resting on there. And then to the left of that, you also have your hood release lever right there as well. Now coming to the right of there, you do have your pedals here, and they do have a rubberized texture to them, so your feet are going to remain being very gripped to those pedals. I would have definitely liked to have seen some sort of metal option on the Kia Niro, especially since they are trying to go for more of a somewhat sporty vehicle. I would have definitely liked to see a metal as an option, or even standard in that EX trim and above, but that's really just a minor pick right there. All right, so now let's hop right on inside of the 2017 Kia Niro. And hopping on inside, you don't really have to duck your head at all. This roofline does have a slight slope down, but it's not terribly bad. I didn't have to really duck my head at all when I was getting inside of this vehicle. So when you do first get inside of the vehicle, it does reset itself all the way back in its tracks. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about that, but obviously when you do get this vehicle, you probably will get very used to it. The only problem with that is that you do have to stretch quite a bit to close up the door because of that. But let's close up the door. And it has a pretty decent sound to it. It does have sort of like a clink to it. I'm not quite sure. I mean, it has a solid sound, but I would have definitely liked to have heard a lot more of a soft closing. It does sort of have a slight unpleasant thud to it if you do close it hard enough. But let's first turn on the vehicle here. So here goes the key fob for the 2017 Kia Niro. You do have Kia's very traditional key fob right here, and this is going to be your proximity key. And you do have your lock up here in a circle design. You also have your unlock in a rectangle design. You also have your trunk release button right here. You just hold that down, open up your trunk, and you also have your panic alarm right here as well. And then on the other side, you do have some more graining on the key fob as well, with your Kia logo in that glossy finish there. Now, the key fob itself has a decent feel to it. It's not very heavy at all, and I feel like that makes the key fob feel a little bit on the cheap side. So I feel like Kia definitely should add just a little bit more weight to the key fob and maybe upgrade the materials just a little bit, because I'm not a huge fan of the texturing that they did go in here. I would have definitely liked for them to go for a little bit more of an imitation leather texture, as opposed to this texture. It has a little bit of a scratchy and somewhat cheap feel to it, but overall the key fob is going to serve its purpose. Also, it's a little bit on the fat side, but it is narrow. So really, you have to really weigh this in your own mind, how you feel about this key fob. But personally, I'm not a huge fan of it, but by no means is it horrible. And then if you do press this button right here, you will have a physical key that does pull out from that chrome bar at the bottom. All right, so to start up the vehicle, all you do is push your foot on the brake, and push this button right here to start it up. Now on the Touring trim, your push button start does come standard. If you do go for the base FE trim, you're not going to get push button start as standard. I believe you have to step up to the EX trim in order to get this push button start, but I do have to double check on that. I will put a little thing on the bottom telling you the exact trim. All right, so let's push the button to start it up. And it is going to play that little chime, which I really like the sound of inside of this vehicle. It makes the vehicle seem like Kia really cares about their consumers, and they're trying to make them make their vehicles have a little bit more of an upscale ambiance to the interior. Now the seat also adjusted to its first driver's setting, so you can pretty much have two drivers. All you do is press your number and you're right into your comfort, so you don't have to worry about, oh, they're going to drive the vehicle, now I have to readjust the seat to my comfort every single time. You do have those memory seat controls on there, which is a pretty neat feature. Now looking at your gauge cluster design on the Kia Niro, I actually really like the gauge cluster design here. I actually feel like it sort of mimics their Tiger Nose grille here, how it is wide on the outer portions and it does come a little bit more narrow on the inner portion here. Now on the left side, you are not going to really have a tachometer. It is going to be sort of like a charge gauge meter. So on the left side, you are going to see that you do have an off portion right here. So if the engine is off, it is going to be resting down here. If the vehicle is charging through your regenerative braking, it is going to be somewhere in that portion there. If you are driving very eco-friendly, it is going to be in that green portion. And then if you are flooring the vehicle, it is going to be in that power portion right there. Now right below here, it does say EV, so this vehicle is in electric vehicle mode right now. So the gasoline engine is not currently on, just that electric motor, that 240 volt motor is on currently. And then this little green vehicle right here with the arrow going forward and backwards pretty much means that this vehicle is ready to be driven. So whenever you see that green thing, it does tell you that the vehicle is on, since you can't really hear the engine, or rather the electric motor, start up inside of this vehicle. Now above that, you do have your battery temperature up there, as well as your gasoline fuel tank measurement right there, so pretty much how full your gas tank is. And you also get that little arrow telling you that your fuel tank is on the left side of the vehicle. Now we do have 108 miles left on this vehicle, on just about that much amount of gas. Now if you did have this vehicle all the way up to a full tank, I believe your range will be looking just about 525 miles, which is pretty neat. That's actually quite a bit of miles, especially when you're comparing it to an average vehicle. The average vehicle is usually in the 300s, so you are going to get quite a bit of range with this Kia Niro. Now coming to the center portion here, you do have, I believe, a 3.5 inch screen right here, and it is going to have pretty much your average fuel that you have been consuming. So this vehicle has been getting 34.1 miles per gallon in combined driving. Now I was not the one driving this vehicle, so I'm not sure how this person was driving or how long they were exactly driving for, but like I said, fuel economy, you should be seeing closer to the 50 mile per gallon range, more like the 45 miles per gallon range if you do have this top of the line Touring trim. Now right here, you also will give you an instant fuel economy meter here, so if you are driving, it will pretty much tell you what your projected fuel economy is going to be per gallon. And then if you do come down here, it does tell you that you do have your lane keep assist on, as well as how many miles this vehicle has, which is 347, and it tells you the exterior temperature, and your eco button, your eco meter is going to be there as well, telling you that you are in your eco mode. Now to scroll through this screen, you are going to press this portion on the side of the wheel. So on your wheel, you are going to be pressing this, and it is going to take you through the screens up here. So if you do press the button down once, you will go to your trip computer, and if you do press it down again, you will go back to your average fuel tank. So it does pretty much just take you up and down through there. Also, you do get pretty much all of your trip computers. You also can get a very large screen there for your tachometer, which I really love the look of as well. Now, if you do click to the right, let's say you do want to go to the right to your other information. So right up here you are going to see that you do have an arrow right here, as well as this and your music and your wrench and a gear. So to go through those different pages, you are going to press this page button on the side of your steering wheel right here. So this button right here on the side of your steering wheel, you are going to press this page button. So if you do press that page button, you're going to go to your navigation. So this is going to give you pretty much a heads-up navigation system in your gauge cluster, which I really love that Kia did add that, because you don't have to take your eyes off the road to look at your touchscreen when you are driving. You can just glance at your gauge cluster and pretty much see your navigation. Now if you do press that page button once more, you are going to see that you can see your lane departure warning, and it will pretty much give you a digital and virtual, pretty much reality visual of your lane departure and pretty much where you are swaying on that lane. Also, it will give you your radio right here, so you can turn on and off your media players there. Also, if you do go over from there, you do have your engine temperature as well as your user settings. So if you do scroll through here, you do have different things such as your doors, your lights, your sounds, convenience features, service intervals, pretty much when it's time for this vehicle to get serviced on, such as oil changes and things like that. You also have other features here, and you could reset all of your settings as well. So it's a pretty neat feature in here. I really like this screen inside of the Kia Niro. If you do go for the base FE, you are not going to get this gauge cluster layout. You are going to get a slightly different gauge cluster layout. So if you guys do want to see me review the 2017 Kia Niro FE, definitely tell me in the comments section below, and I will try my best to get that done for you guys. Now coming to the right side of your gauge cluster design, you are also going to see that you do have your tachometer here, and your tachometer is going to have a black face with a white ring going around there, and your speedometer is going to be counting up in increments of 20, so it is going to go all the way up to 140 miles per hour, and it does say Eco Hybrid right there, so it does also look fairly attractive there. And this gauge is very easy to read since you do have white numbers on a black face. So I do really like the ease of use of this instrument cluster display. Very easy to use, and at a glance you are pretty much going to know exactly what is happening on this screen. Now over here, it is also going to tell you that the vehicle is in park. Now if you do come to your steering wheel design on the Kia Niro, if you do come to the left side, you do have your voice command button. So I'm going to press this voice command button.
Please say a command.
FM 99.1.
Now listening to FM 99.1.
So it is fairly responsive when it does come to that function right there, that voice control function. It does have a slight lag to it. When you do say it, it does sort of have to load for a while, but once it does get it, it does have a very crisp and pretty pleasant sound. The lady that does speak does sort of have a slight robotic sound to it. I would definitely like to have seen a lot more of a naturally speaking person, but I mean, you can't ask for everything inside of this vehicle. Now coming over here, you do have your volume control knobs right here. Also, if you click on it, you will mute or unmute the radio right there. Over here, you do have your tuning buttons right there, and if you do come below there, you do have your hang up and your pickup buttons right here, since this vehicle does come with Bluetooth connectivity for your smartphone. Now coming on the other side of there, you do have your controls for that center screen that I was talking about. So you do have your page button right there, you do have your up and down, you do have your OK button. Over here, you do have your cruise control button, as well as your setting the distance for that cruise control. You also have your distance markers. So pretty much this is going to be for your adaptive cruise control, so you can set the distance as to how close or how far away you do want to follow the vehicle in front of you, and this is going to be your cancel button to cancel all of that out. Now your steering wheel design itself and material quality does have a very smooth and soft feel to it, and your steering wheel is also very light, low effort when it does come to turning. It does have a little bit more steering feel than some of the other Hyundai Kia products that I have reviewed for you guys, so it does feel like it is probably going to be have a little bit more of a steering feel. Now looking at right here on your horn cover, you do have a hard touch plastic here, but it does sort of give you like the illusion that it is going to be stitched in here, but in fact it is not stitched. It's just a little indent right there. Now if we do honk the horn, It does have a very loud horn. I actually really like the sound of the horn. It's not very high pitched, but it does have a lot more of a low pitched sound, and pretty much a sound like get out of my way. And I really like how Kia did decide to put that on this vehicle. Since this vehicle is a little bit on the small side, especially compared to like a F-150 or something, and this horn will most likely get that F-150 out of your way. Now, if you do come down here, you do have your glossy black inserts here, similar to what's found on the door panel design, as well as over here on your dashboard design. You do have that piano black portion down there, and you also have a smooth black plastic running inside of there as well. Now, your steering wheel, like I said, is going to be a leather wrapped steering wheel, and you do have little black stitching in here, as well as your blue crossed stitching going on the inner portion of your steering wheel as well. Now, you also get pretty decent bolstering, and your bolstering is going to be more at your 9 and 3 grips, and you do have pretty comfortable, your hand pretty much just falls right into place here. I really like the feel that Kia did go for this steering wheel design. I would have definitely actually liked to see the D-shaped steering wheel on the top of the line strip. I'm not quite sure why Kia did decide to drop it out. I guess they did want this vehicle to be a little bit more premium and upscale. Now, if you do come to the center portion right here, you are going to see that you do have your 8-inch colored touchscreen display right here. So this is going to be your optional touchscreen. Your base touchscreen is going to be a smaller 7-inch touchscreen, which is going to be available on your FE trims, as well as your EX and your LX, I believe. If you do go for the touring trims, you are going to get this larger 8-inch touchscreen. Now, this touchscreen is also very responsive. It's actually very similar to the touchscreen found inside of the 2017 Hyundai Elantra SE that I reviewed for you guys earlier. But then again, that vehicle did have the smaller 7-inch touchscreen. So you do have sort of like a tri-split screen right here. You do have all of your menus over there, as well as the radio that's playing. You do have your temperatures inside of the vehicle, and you do have your fan speed, the direction, the zone that your air is also blowing you at. So if you do want to open up your climate controls, you just press right there on the screen. It will open up your climate controls, and you can control your climates through here. You do not get a digital readout on the lower portion of the dash. I would definitely like to have seen a digital readout on the lower portion, but you can tune the climate control for both the driver and passenger through a sync system. And if you do come a little bit more in depth right here, you are going to see that you can get your different zones that you have this blowing on you at as well. So you can have it blowing directly on you, or different zones. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind is that you cannot really control anything climate up here. So this isn't touchscreen. If you do press sync, it doesn't do anything. AC is not going to do anything either. So you do have to come down here and locate your sync button, which is going to be located right here. Turn off the syncing, so now you can manually control each side, the driver and the passenger. But I do like how the readout is very large and easy to read, and the color and crispness of the screen is actually very high quality as well. It makes this vehicle seem a lot more high quality. Also, I do like how they do give you a black background with your white letters, so it is going to be very easy on the eyes and very quick to navigate in here. So if you do press the back button, it is fairly responsive as well. You don't really get any animations, just pretty much next screen. So it is going to be fairly fast, especially considering you don't have any animations. Now, if you do come and click right here, it will open up your radio portion right here. Now, your radio portion is going to have FM, AM, and Sirius XM radio. So you can pretty much go in between each of those. And this portion is going to be touchscreen. And this vehicle also supports swiping. So you can swipe through each of these presets here, and you do get up to just about 18 presets for each portion right here. So that's also a pretty neat feature. Now, you also get an HD radio option inside of this vehicle, since this vehicle does have that Harman Kardon premium audio system inside of here. So if you do want to have an even crisper sound, you can turn on that HD radio or turn off that HD radio, whichever you prefer. Now, if you do come below there, you are going to see that you do have your volume knob right here, as well as your tune knob. So I do like how they do give you knobs in here, sticking very simple but also very clean, conservative, and easy to use. And I really like how Kia does make it a 3-portion, sort of like a stacked. So you do have your infotainment system, your radio controls, and then your climate controls located on the bottom portion. Now looking right here is pretty much just a double portion of what you found up there. So you can press media, you go to your media screen, but we do not have any media files available. Now if you do come down here, you're also going to have your hazards. Turn on your hazards. You also have your SD portion right here. So if you did have an SD card, you can put it in there to pretty much make your GPS system. So if you do have anything preset for your GPS system, you put it in that SD card slot portion right there. You also have your map voice. So if you do want to talk to the map and pretty much tell you the direction that you do want to go, you can just press that button and speak it in, as opposed to typing in your destination on here. You also have your phone button right here, so you will go straight to your phone. Now we do not have a phone connected currently, but you can connect any of your phones right to the system. And you also have your setup portion right here, and you are going to have your navigation, your sound, your display, your Bluetooth button right there. You also have your UVO E services, and your UVO E services is pretty much going to be like things such as your roadside assistance and things like that. So if you are found on the side of the road, for instance, you can call UVO services and they will come and pick you up. Now down here on the lower portion, on that third stack, you are going to have all of your climate control features right here. You're going to see that you do have a clean air dual zone system here. So the air inside of this vehicle is going to be filtered through a filter inside of the vehicle that is called Clean Air. That's the name of the company, I believe. Now right here you do have your knobs for your climate controls right here, and then right here you do have your front window defroster, your rear window defroster, your AC on and off buttons right there, your in-car circulation mode. You also have the different zones that you want the air to blow on you at. You can turn up and lower the fan speed in here. They do give you a button right here, like a rocker button. I would have definitely liked to have seen a knob for your fan speed as well, but I mean, I guess this is fairly neat, since I feel like you use your fan speed more often. I feel like you do have to take your eyes off the road to find it in the cluster of buttons. Now, and then right over here, you do have your climate button there as well. Now, if you do come inside of here, you do get two 12-volt power outlets on either side here. So both the driver and the front passenger can be charging their phone at the same time, so you guys don't have to be fighting over that. And then right over here you do have your auxiliary port. You also have your USB port, and this vehicle also comes with wireless charging, which is a pretty neat feature. So this vehicle does come with wireless charging. So I do have my phone here, and I do have a Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, so we are going to see how my phone does fit and charge in this little portion right here. So it actually does fit and it does charge, so that's a pretty neat feature. So we can get our charging done right there, and you can pretty much leave your phone right there and let it charge right on up. And I'm actually going to leave my phone there because it does need a little bit of charging. Now if you do come below there, you do have your gear selector. I'm going to move this paper out of here for you. So you do have this gear selector here. You do have park, reverse, neutral, and drive. And then if you do click it to the left in drive, you are going to have your sport mode. You will click it up to go up a gear and pull it down to go down a gear. And I do really like how Kia did go for a very traditional gear shifter lever design here. They did go for the PRD, and you just pull forward or you pull backwards. It's also not gated, so I do like how it's not gated. Very easy to use, very simple, and I do like how they stuck to the basics while also making it very premium and upscale, since a lot of its other competitors and pretty much a lot of vehicles in general are going for turning knobs or push button gear selectors, and they're just becoming quite atrocious. And I do like how Kia does keep it very simple but very premium and upscale. This is going to be leather wraps with sort of like a metal metallic button to the left portion right here. You're also going to have black leather right here with blue stitching going down, pretty much sticking with the overall theme of the blue going all around the vehicle. And then right here to the left, you do have your parking sensors on and off button. So if you want to turn on your parking sensors or turn off your parking sensors right there. there. Now coming around there, you do also have that piano black trim running around your gear selector. And then right here you do have hard touch plastics right here, pretty much making the cockpit seem like it's more driver orientated, but this screen is in fact facing very vertical and pretty much straight out to the back and not towards the driver. And I actually really like that, because sometimes the passenger wants to use the infotainment system and they don't want to be trying to tilt their head over to see what the screen is actually trying to say without any distortion. Now the upper portion here is going to be this glossy material around your 8-inch touchscreen. Right here is going to be unfortunately hard touch plastics. I would have definitely liked to have seen this soft touch plastic, especially since this vehicle is just about $35,000 and is the top of the line trim. I would have definitely liked to have seen soft touch materials here. This is pretty much the same material you are going to get in that base FE trim. Now if you do come to the upper portion, you are going to get not extremely soft, but it does have a slightly plush feel to it, and is going to be a leather imitation to it. This is not real leather. This is going to be a polyurethane rubberized material up here, and this is going to be soft touch all the way up until this little line right here, and then it turns right back into your hard touch plastics up there. You also get speakers up here. You get a speaker up here, as well as another speaker over there, and another one over there in your right corner right there. Now if we do come right back down here, you are going to see that you do have your steering wheel heating system right here. So I'm going to turn on this heating system, and I'll tell you in just a little bit how hot that steering wheel does actually get. Over here you also have your heated seat controls, as well as your ventilated seat controls. So your heated seat controls, you do have 3 stages for that. And you also have 3 stages for your ventilated seat controls, which is a pretty neat feature. So you do get lots of functionality in these seats. I really like how you can get quite a bit of motion and overall usability out of these seats inside of the Kia Niro. Now behind there you do have a little pocket here that you can fit your key fob right inside of, which I really love how they do give you that pocket there. And you do have 2 cup holders here. Now our 16-ounce water bottle does fit in that front one with lots of room to spare, and our larger 1-ounce water bottle just fits in there. So if you are driving around, this isn't going to fall out, but it doesn't fit all the way down to the bottom, but it does fit in here fairly well. So if you are a water drinker, this is going to be the perfect cup holder for you. Now if you do come to the back portion right here, you are going to see that you do have this leather wrapped portion here that actually is fairly plush. I actually really like how plush this is. You also get that blue stitching running down the side of it as well. And if you do open that on up, it is going to be a single storage design right here. You do not have a 2-tier design. It is just going to be a drop bin right there. And you also have another USB port right there, it looks like. So this is going to be only for charging. This is not going to connect your phone. If you do want to connect your phone to the screen through USB, you do have to plug it into there. But if you do want to charge your phone, you will plug it into there, or if you do have that wireless charging feature, place it right on to that charging pad right there. All right, so let's close this on up. All right, and let's put our bottles right back in. Alright, so sitting inside of the Kia Niro, let's first talk about the visibility as well. So looking out the front end, you can pretty much see that you can see the end of the hood fairly well. So visibility inside of the Kia Niro out of the front is decent. Also coming to the side, you do have fairly thin A-pillars. Towards the bottom, it does get a little bit on the thick side since your mirror is not located on the door, but rather to your A-pillar. So it is going to make this bottom portion rather thick, but it's not going to be overly thick at all. Now if you do come to the right side here, it's pretty much the same thing. You are also going to see that you do have a decently sized B pillar there. It's actually fairly thin, so it is going to be very easy to see out over there. And coming to the rear, you do have your C pillar and your D pillar. Your C pillar is a decent thickness, and your D pillar is a little bit on the thick side. I feel like that could have been definitely a little bit thinner, but if you do look out the rear, you do have a fairly wide window, but your window height isn't amazing. It is a little bit on the narrow side, but you do have to keep in mind that Kia does give you a reverse camera here as standard equipment on all of the Kia Niro products. So if you just reverse and putting the vehicle into reverse, you are going to see that you do have a decent graining to your camera. I would have definitely liked to have seen the graining just a little bit better, but you do have distance markers as well as your trajectory, so it is going to tell you exactly what direction you are moving in, and you do have your distance markers right there as well. So let's put that right back into park. And like I said, you also have your parking sensors inside of this vehicle as well. So your parking sensors are going to help you inside of the Kia Niro. So if you are getting close to things, you can use that parking sensor to help you. Now, if you do come over here, your mirrors are also a pretty decent size as well. So I do like how Kia did keep your mirrors fairly large inside of the Kia Niro. Now, if you do come up here, you do have your mirror right here that does come with manual dimming, no auto dimming on the Kia Niro. I would have definitely liked to have seen auto dimming here. So it is sort of a cost cut that Kia did do there. But you do still get a fairly decently sized mirror here that does come with black plastic around it. I would have definitely liked to have seen a beige plastic around it, but this is pretty much a direct carryover from the base FE trim. Now, if you do come up here, you do have your mirror, you do have your visors that do pull down. You do have a mirror right here, and your mirror does not come with a light. Your light, you actually have to press up here and it will turn on your light. It does not automatically turn on when you open this up. But if you do perhaps leave your light on and you close it up, it will turn off your light, which is a pretty neat feature. Now, if you do come over here, you do have more lights up here, and these are not going to be LEDs. These are going to be your incandescent lights right here. And if you do come right over here, you do have your light buttons to turn it on and off. You also have, if you want your lights to turn on with the door open here as well. Now, right below there, you do have your sunglass holder right here, and it is going to have a slight felt lining to it, so it is going to prevent your screen from getting scratched, for instance. Now, right here, you also have your moonroof adjustability portion here as well. So if you do want to open up your moonroof, you just pull this back and it will open up your moonroof. Now, you do not have a dual pane sunroof inside of this vehicle, and the Kia Niro actually does not offer a dual pane sunroof, but you do get this sunroof right here on the Kia Niro, and you can close that right on back up. And the moonroof is actually fairly fast when it is closing. Now, you can also have this shade right here that does block out all of the sunlight, so you don't have any little hole particles bringing in light that can be a little bit distracting. Now, I did have the heated steering wheel control on, and it gets fairly warm. It's not extremely warm where it's going to burn you, but it is definitely warm enough, so if it is in the colder months, if it is in like the 40s or the 50s, it is going to keep your hands fairly warm. So let's turn that off. And now let's check out the front passenger side of the 2017 Kia Niro. Alright, so like I said earlier, you do also have your smart key access system on the front passenger side as well. So if we do open up the door here, and looking at your door panel design, very similar to the left driver's side. The only difference you are going to see here is that you do have your locks right here, and you are also going to see that you only have one window switch control there. But pretty much everything else is going to be identical to your driver's side door panel. Now, if we do step on inside of the vehicle, you are going to see that your step-in height, just like the driver's side, is amazing. It does have that higher step-in height that buyers do like to get out of their crossovers. So a lot of people that do buy this vehicle may also like this vehicle because you don't fall inside of the vehicle, but it is a very decent gradient from you stepping inside of the vehicle. Now, right down here, you are going to see that you do have this Niro lettering right here. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but it is sort of like this silver brushed metallic trim running all the way down here. So it is going to say Niro right there, which does look pretty neat. I really like that feature. All right, so like I said, you do have to lean out quite a bit to close these doors because they do open up quite large. It's actually sort of like a 90-degree angle, so it does have its pros and have its cons. The pros are pretty much you have it very wide, so getting in and out is going to be no problem whatsoever, but also the cons can be it's very difficult to reach and close that door all the way from outside. But it does come with 3 positions, so it does have your furthest position, a second one, a third one, and closed. And similar to the driver's side, it does have a very solid thunk, but it does have that slight sound that does have a slight, almost like an awkward thud. But this vehicle definitely is not going to disappoint when it does come to the sound of the door quality. It does sound very high quality and does have sort of like that plushness that does make the vehicle seem a little bit more upscale and premium than the price may actually suggest. So sitting inside of here, like I said, this upper portion dashboard is going to be your soft touch materials. You're also going to have your AC vents right here that are also going to have that blue accenting around there. You do also have this little badge that says EcoSport that actually has texturing to it, so it also makes the vehicle feel a lot more high quality. And this is sort of like a brushed aluminum, so that part right there makes this entire interior just look so much more premium. I really like that touch right there. Now if you do come to this center portion here, you do have this somewhat of a cheap portion here. I'm not a huge fan of this portion here. I feel like it's just looks weird. It sort of looks like just like a tacky add-on right here. This is going to be a smooth hard touch plastic, not really matching with any other material inside of the dashboard. I would definitely like for Kia to replace this in future model years. But overall, if you do come below there, you do have that piano black material that does swoop right around your AC vent right here. You also have that blue accenting going around there as well. Down here you do have that hard touch plastic, and then if you do come below there, you do have your glove box here, and it is going to be a button that you press, and it is not going to be lockable, it seems like. So you do not have a lockable glove box inside of the Kia Niro, which is just a little bit of a silly omission, I feel like. But you can just push that and it will open it up. It is damped, but it is not lined with felt. So let's take out these pamphlets and let's see if our tissue box fits. This is going to be our tissue box test, and your tissue box unfortunately does not fit inside of the Kia Niro's glove box. I was actually expecting it to fit, but you are going to see that the Kia Niro's glove box is a little bit on the tight side. It sort of does narrow down towards here, and it is a little bit on the thin side. It's very wide, but when it does come to up and down, it is very thin. So it's not the most practical glove box out here. But then again, you do have to keep in mind that, I mean, it's a decent size. Overall interior cubbies and overall storage inside of the Kia Niro in the front seats, they are decent. You do have your storage down here, and you do have that little portion right there for your phone charging. You also have your single stage, your single tier center armrest portion storage right there. I would have definitely liked to have seen a two-tier in there, and also you do get little storage cubbies in here as well. I would have definitely actually liked to have seen Kia give you sort of like a dual glove box portion similar to what was found in the Fiat 500L that I did a review for you guys recently. I would have definitely liked to have seen this open upwards and open this downwards. It would have gave this vehicle a lot more storage, especially since storage isn't extremely abundant in the front seats. It's very spacious, I have to say. I can pretty much stretch out my legs all the way, and the way that Kia did sculpt this dashboard here, as well as if you do have very long legs, it is not going to be coming in contact with your dashboard. And overall, the interior of the 2017 Kia Niro, if you are sitting in the front seats, is quite impressive. Also, you do get these handles inside of the Kia Niro as well, and you do get that not on the driver's side, but you do get it on the other three sides, which is pretty neat feature. And another thing that you are going to notice is that this top portion does sort of have a rough texture to it. I'm not a huge fan of it. It sort of feels like foam on the top. I would definitely like to have seen Kia upgrade that as well. But you do have to keep in mind that this vehicle is more of a budget vehicle. It can fool you in lots of respects as to thinking that you did pay so much less than what you were actually getting. I mean, you get so much car for your money here. You get class-leading fuel economy. You do get a very spacious cabin, very high-quality feeling cabin. Even though some materials could be slightly softer, you do get a very high quality, and it's going to feel like it is going to hold up very well. Nothing in here feels loose, like it is going to break apart or anything. Also, even your gear stocks feel very high quality. They do have a little bit of a clicky feel to them, but they feel very high quality, and I do like how Kia did choose to pretty much equip the Kia Niro. Now, alright, so now let's check out the back seats of the 2017 Kia Niro and see what Kia has to offer for the rear seat passengers. Alright, so now let's talk about the back seats of the 2017 Kia Niro. So to open up the back doors, you just pull this door handle right here. Now you do not have any smart key access system on your rear doors. And opening up your door, it does have a very solid feel to it when you do open it up, and it does have a 2-position opening. You do have 1, 2, 3. I actually have a 3-position opening, which is pretty neat. So you are going to have quite a wide opening. The opening isn't as wide as it is in the front seats, but you do have a pretty decent angle right there. Now, looking at your door panel material here, you are going to see that you do have hard touch plastics on the upper portion, so it is not carried over from the front seats. Now, if you do come right here, you do have glossy trim right here, and this is going to be your piano black glossy trim, which looks very high quality, and I actually really like the look of this in here. It doesn't make the vehicle look cheap at all. I actually like how it sort of brings the vehicle a little bit more upscale and premium features to and factor to it. Now, if you do look on here, you do have your leather wrapped portion that is very plush, and you do have that blue leather stitching that does run all the way down right there. Now, if you do come below there, you do have hard to the touch materials all in the lower portion. You also have your Harman Kardon system in the back seats as well, but it does not say Harman Kardon, so you are not going to be impressing your rear seat passengers when they are sitting inside of you. You're almost going to have to pretty much prove it to them by showing them the speakers in the front seats. And then right here you do have your bottle holder, and in my tests, my 16-ounce water bottle did fit in here, but my 1-liter water bottle unfortunately did not fit. This is just too small of a cutout for that 1-liter water bottle. But overall, the door panel design inside of the 2017 Kia Niro on the back seats is fairly high quality. I would have definitely liked to have seen this portion soft touch material. If this was soft touch material, it would have been just superb, but because this is hard touch plastics, and I know they are capable of putting soft touch plastics, especially since this is a top of the line touring trim, I'm not going to give it the highest rating for door panel material quality and design. But the design overall is actually fairly well, but the quality, especially on the upper portion, could definitely be a softer material. But the overall material quality, like how well it fits and finishes together, is fairly good. Nothing feels like it's going to crack or squeak or anything. Everything feels very high quality. You do have your silver painted metallic door handle right here, and you also have a lock right there as well, which looks pretty attractive as well. All right, so let's hop on inside of the Kia Niro. So stepping on the side of the back seats, you do have to duck your head just slightly. It does have quite of a square cutout right here. We are going to see that right here. It is going to start sloping down just a little bit, so you do have to watch your head if you are taller than 5'10". Alright, so now let's talk about the backseat comfort inside of the 2017 Kia Niro. Now, sitting in the back seats of the 2017 Kia Niro, the seats feel very similar to the front seats. They do have a little bit of a firm feel to them. They aren't the most plush feeling seats in the class. They do have slightly of a firm bolstering to the bottom as well as to the top. This bolstering right here is extremely firm, and it doesn't really hold you in place either, since, I mean, this is the back seats. You aren't necessarily looking for this vehicle to be holding you in place around a canyon, for example. But overall, the back seats are fairly comfortable. Also going to see that your seats are quite a ways off the ground, so you are going to get a very decent amount of height right here. So you are going to feel like you are sitting inside of a seat, very upright and comfortable here. Also, you are going to see that you do have quite a bit of legroom here as well. The seat is adjusted for my comfort right here, and I do have tons of space. I will show you a little bit more in depth when we do get in here. And your headrests are also fairly supportive as well. They're very soft and plush. I really love how soft and plush Kia does make their headrests. But overall, the seat back is a little bit on the firm side and does offer quite aggressive lumbar support right here in the back, but your seat bottom cushion is adequate for the class. Now, if you do close up the door, has a very solid sound. Actually sounds a little bit more solid than it does in the front seats, which is pretty unique. I never really had a vehicle that sounded more solid in the rear than it did in the front. But sitting in the back seats, I do have the front seat adjusted to my comfort. I am 5'10", and well, I have quite a bit of room in here. It's actually quite impressive as to how much room the Kia Niro actually offers for you. I mean, this is very amazing. I really like how much space Kia does give you. I probably have like half of my arm can fit here. So, I mean, wow, I'm actually extremely impressed. Also, your foot space under the seats are amazing as well, since the seat is height adjustable, so that's pretty neat as well. Now, if you do come over here, you do have AC vents in the back seats, and you also have a 115 volt household power outlet in the back seat as well, which is a pretty neat feature there. And your seats here are going to be leather wrapped, same as in the front seats. You have a perforated portion in the middle, and the back seats are not heated nor cooled. I would have definitely liked to have seen that feature in the back seats, but you can't really ask for everything. The front seat, driver and passenger do get that, so that is definitely a plus. Now if you do come to the backrests, very similar to the front seats. Like I said earlier, it is going to be a little bit on the firm side. It's not the most plush back seats. The bolstering down here is a little bit on the firm side, or rather the lumbar support on the bottom is firm. You don't have any adjustability for the back seats either. You can't move them forward, backwards, square them off, or anything like that. And then if you do come up here, you do have your headrest, which is actually very plush, so your heads are going to feel very comfortable on there. It also has a little bit of a curvature to it. Now sitting back in the seats, your headroom is also pretty decent as well, so I'm going to turn this camera around so you guys can see. I'm sitting right here and you can see that my headroom is pretty good. I do have quite a bit of headroom. The headroom is actually quite impressive. I think this vehicle probably has one of the best headrooms besides that Fiat 500L that I reviewed for you guys. So headroom in here is quite impressive for a subcompact utility vehicle. So if we do move on over to the middle seats here, you are going to see that you do not have much room right here, but this seat I do have all the way back in its tracks. We are going to move there in just a second. But right here, you are also going to see that you do have quite a flat floor right here on the ground, so you don't really have that huge hump there, mainly because this vehicle only comes in front wheel drive. There is no all-wheel drive option available, so you don't have any powertrain running to the rear wheels. So your back seat comfort is going to be good. Your backrest is a little bit on the firm side, but that is mainly due to this vehicle having this center armrest right here, which is also has a slightly firm feel to it, but it is leather wrapped, so that is a pro. And then right here you do have two cup holders right here that are decently sized. And if we do close that right on up, you do also have a headrest here. So if we lift up that headrest right there and sit right on back, my head actually hits the headrest, which is pretty unique. A lot of vehicles out there, they give you a headrest for the middle, but they're like jabbing you in the back. Like, I don't understand why automakers do that, but the Kia Niro is not in that boat. It actually does have a pretty decently sized headrest there that is very comfortable and actually supports your head. Now if you are sitting back here behind this seat, and this seat is all the way back in its tracks as far as it can go, and I mean the room that you have up there is like crazy. If really, probably a 6'4" passenger would be sitting there. So if you are riding around with a 6'4" passenger and perhaps sitting in the back seat at 5'10", you are still going to have quite a bit of space here. And this seat is all the way back in its track, so space as far as legroom goes is not lacking. Also, side to side should be fairly well as well. The width of this vehicle is pretty decent, so you can possibly sit 3 Marcuses all the way across. I mean, you are going to see that, I mean, the center is a little bit on the narrow side, but overall you should be able to fit 3 people across with no problem. It's not the most widest vehicle out there, but it definitely isn't narrow to where you're going to be on top of everyone. Now right here you do have a mat pocket on both your passenger and your driver's side over there, so that's also a pretty neat feature. And if you do come up here, like I said earlier, you do have that sunroof right there. It is not a panoramic sunroof. You do not get it all the way to the back, but you do get it right up there. And Kia also gives you a cutout in the ceiling, so it does sort of curve it out. Like you can sort of see right there how it's curving in a little bit to give you a little bit more headroom. And the same applies to this right side. You do get tons of headroom. So overall, the back seat of the Kia Niro is very spacious, especially if you are a short person. Also, if you are a taller person, you are going to fit no problem in here as well. And if you are on the wider side, I do definitely recommend that only 2 people sit back here. But if you are smaller, 3 people can definitely sit all the way across in the back seats with no problem. All right, so now let's check out the cargo area of the 2017 Kia Niro. All right, so now let's talk about the cargo practicality of the 2017 Kia Niro. So to open up the trunk of the 2017 Kia Niro, all you have to do is come right down here, all the way down to the bottom of your bumper. So you do have to bend down quite a bit. You press that button, it will unlock it, and then you just lift it up the rest of the way. And your trunk is going to open up quite a ways. So you are going to see that this does have quite an angle right there. So you can step under here, no problem. You can see that my head is not even close to it. I'm on my tippy toes right now and I'm just barely touching it. So that's a pretty neat feature inside of the Kia Niro. So right inside here, you are going to be looking at 19.4 cubic feet of space if you do have the rear seats folded up. And if you were to fold down the rear seats, and to fold down the rear seats is actually pretty easy inside of the Kia Niro. All you have to do is pull that right there and push it right on forward, and it will fold right on down. And you do the same thing on this side. Now this side is not going to probably fold all the way down, since I do have that back seat all the way back in its tracks, but surprisingly it did fold down. I do have this right seat all the way back in its tracks, so you can feel free, you can be very confident that if you do have that front right passenger seat all the way back in its tracks, you can still fold down these rear seats. And I'm also extremely surprised and happy to say that, yay, you do actually get a flat transition from your cargo load floor to your fold down on the rear seats. And I really like that. So when you are loading things inside of the trunk, you aren't going to have a strange angle, and it is going to make the vehicle a lot more practical. Now on the side here, you are going to see that you do have hard touch plastics on the side here, but that is actually good. That's actually what you want to have on the back seats, so it's going to be a lot more easier to clean inside of the trunk. Also, you do have this sub tweeter here. If you do go for any other trims of the Kia Niro, if you do get any trim that does not have that Harman Kardon premium audio system, you are not going to get this sub tweeter. So as a result, you are going to probably get a little bit more space in the trunk, but we do have that vehicle, so you are going to get this Harman Kardon here with that. So coming down here, you are going to have this little latch right here, and you can pick up this latch, and in there you have some more storage compartments right here, right here, right here, right here. You also have a fix-a-flat kit, and if you fold this back one more time, you also have some more storage compartments here, here, and here. And just in case if that wasn't enough storage for you, you can take out this foam insert and have even more storage down here. Now the Kia Niro does not come with any standard spare tires. Actually, no Kia Niro comes with a spare tire, even optional, so you are going to have to get that as a feature afterwards, pretty much an aftermarket feature, because Kia didn't want to add any extra weight into the trunk of the Kia Niro, weighing it down and adding more weight. So as opposed to doing that, they did give you this fix-a-flat kit, which is much lighter than a full-size tire in the back. All right, so overall, I mean, this trunk is fairly spacious, and if you do pull this all the way back here, you are going to see that you do have a privacy cover right here. This is going to be your privacy shade, and it is going to work fairly well there, going all the way across. And if you can just pull it right back like this, and it does sort of have like a vinyl feel to it. It is not leather wrapped. I would have definitely liked to have seen it leather wrapped, since we do have the top of the line touring trim here, but then again, Kia cannot give you everything with this. Now you do not get any powered tailgate on this vehicle. Even though this vehicle is in the mid $30,000 range, you do not get any powered tailgate here, so it is still going to be your manual closing. So you just put your hand right in here, and I do like how they do give you a little helper handle, so you don't have to grab onto the top of the vehicle and get fingerprints all over your rear tailgate. Alright, so now let's talk about the safety of the 2017 Kia Niro. So the Kia Niro actually has not been tested by the IIHS, nor has it been tested by the NHTSA, but Kia is very confident that the 2017 Kia Niro is going to receive top safety ratings, and I am right behind them. Now, there are 7 airbags that are standard inside of the Kia Niro. You do get a driver's knee airbag, which is going to be located somewhere around here. You also get 6 other airbags located all around the vehicle, which is a pretty neat feature, because some other vehicles only come with 6 airbags, and even some other vehicles only come with 5. So the fact that Kia does give you 7 airbags just shows you how much they do really care about your safety. Now, blind spot monitoring is only available on your EX and your Touring trims. If you do go for your FE and your LX trims, you are not going to get any of your blind spot monitoring. So that is a little bit of a silly omission. I would definitely like to have seen your blind spot monitoring on those vehicles, but you do get tons of active safety equipment if you do go for your EX and your touring trims as well. So you are also going to get your lane departure warning, your adaptive cruise control, and your automatic emergency braking. Now, if you do go for those EX and touring trims, you're also going to get things such as your parking sensors for your front as well as your rear, which is a pretty neat feature, and those buttons are going to be located right here. And your blind spot monitoring is going to be located here, with your lane keep assist, which is a pretty neat feature, is going to be located right here. And overall, Kia really tried to make the Niro as safe as possible for pretty much all the consumers, because they know that many people are going to be buying this vehicle. People that have small families are going to want to buy this vehicle. Young people are going to want to buy this vehicle. Our future generation is going to be wanting to buy this vehicle. So Kia knew that if they were going to produce a compact hatchback SUV, they had to make it as safe as possible, and Kia is definitely taking strong strides towards that. Alright, so now let's talk about the ground clearance and towing capabilities of the 2017 Kia Niro. So the ground clearance of the Kia Niro, which is pretty much from the bottom of the ground all the way to the bottom of the car, is going to be 5.9 inches, which when compared to, for example, something like the Toyota Prius, it is going to be just about 0.4 inches taller than the Prius and just about 0.4 inches shorter than the Toyota RAV4. So your towing capacity for the 2017 Kia Niro is not going to be recommended. You are not recommended to be towing with the 2017 Kia Niro, and that's mainly because the Kia Niro is here to get the maximum amount of fuel economy ratings that it can possibly get, and if they were to make it more towing capable, they are going to have to drop that fuel economy rating. Now, you do have to keep in mind though, there are entries that can tow. For example, the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, I believe, can tow, as well as the Nissan Rogue Hybrid, but you do have to keep in mind those vehicles are much larger and they are going to, I believe, offer all-wheel drive. So if you are looking for an all-wheel drive entry in there, you are going to have to go for those vehicles. But you do have to keep in mind that those vehicles are going to get much worse fuel economy than the Kia Niro. The Kia Niro is going to be getting fuel economy in the high 40s and the low 50s, while the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid and the Nissan Rogue Hybrid are going to be getting fuel economy ratings closer to the middle 30 range, which isn't extremely impressive. So Kia really has a sweet spot here. Alright, so now let's talk about my recommendations for the 2017 Kia Niro. So if you do want the max amount of fuel economy, I will definitely recommend sticking with the FE trim, and that FE trim is going to be your base model of the Niro. Now, if you do want the best of both worlds, I definitely recommend going for that EX trim. That EX trim is going to pretty much allow for you to get things such as your lane keep assist, and it is also going to give you amazing fuel economy. Now, if you do want the best, even more of both worlds, if you want very good safety as well as fuel economy and more luxury and premium amenities, I will definitely recommend going for the top of the line touring trim, as long as money is not an objective for you. All in all, the all-new 2017 Kia Niro is a great choice if you want a practical, fuel-efficient, safe, and stylish hybrid. Offering a pretty seamless blend between two very hot segments, the Niro should definitely find its way onto your shopping list. Not to mention it being the most fuel-efficient crossover in America as of 2017, and having an unbeatable 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, the 2017 Kia Niro is a tough vehicle to overlook in the compact hybrid segment. Well, that's it for this full review. Comment and tell me what you would like to see in future videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. This is Marcus, and thanks for watching Drive and Be Driven. Keep it positive, and I'll see you next time. You can become a Drive and Be Driven driver today. Just simply click the subscribe button and you will become a part of the Drive and Be Driven circle. Subscribing will allow you to stay up to date with the Drive and Be Driven YouTube channel. Thank you to all of my current Drive and Be Driven drivers for driving me towards my goals and dreams. Stay subscribed for more awesome videos like this one.